Du lyssnar på Life Coach-podden, avsnitt 170, där vi pratar om Money Mindset Basics med Meaghan Jean Smith. Välkommen till Life Coach-podden, där allt handlar om tankar, känslor och hur vi kan använda dem för att komma dit vi vill. Jag är din guide, författare, projektstartare och certifierad life coach, Anna Wallner. Men hej hallå och god morgon. Gissa om jag har någonting speciellt för er idag. För idag så har jag en expert med oss. En expert på money mindset. Och hon är inte bara en expert på money mindset och pengar i största allmänhet. Hon är också min bästa kompis. Och det är så roligt. Om ni vill höra mer om det, för det är en helt egen historia i sig, så kan du scrolla tillbaks här i Life Coach-podden och lyssna på avsnittet som heter An Unexpected Friendship at 40. För att jag och Meaghan, vi gick i samma coachningsklass på skolan och vi blev bästisar. Och hon bor i Australien och jag bor i Sverige. Vi har aldrig träffats fysiskt, vilket är ju helt sjukt. Men från det att vi träffades så har vi pratat varenda dag. Och det är underbart och fantastiskt hur man kan träffa vänner på så märkliga sätt och få en sån kontakt utan att faktiskt fysiskt ha varit i varandras närhet. Men det är inte det vi ska prata om idag, utan idag ska vi prata om pengar. Och kanske inte så mycket om pengar, utan hur vi tänker om pengar. Och det här är ju ingenting som jag har pratat om på podden förut. Och när jag berättade det för Meaghan så var hon så här, men varför inte då? Nej, men så jag tror att det är så att i och med att vi är bästisar och det är din expertis, det känns som att det området redan är covered, kan man väl säga. Men ni lyssnar ju kanske inte nödvändigtvis på Meaghans podcast, vilket jag absolut tycker att ni ska göra. Den heter The Money Mindful Podcast. Och jag skulle rekommendera att ni börjar från första början. Hon har hållit på jättelänge. Det finns så mycket att lyssna på där. Men idag så kommer ni få just Meaghans basics. Hon kommer förklara för oss hur saker och ting hänger ihop, varför vi vill ändra på våra mindset, eller vad som händer om vi inte gör det, vad vi riskerar och framförallt hur vi går tillväga. Och jag vet att det här kommer bli ett ganska långt poddavsnitt, men håll ut, för det är värt det. Så jag ger helt enkelt över mikrofonerna till mig och Meaghan. Enjoy! So hi my lovely friend, how are you?
Hi, Anna. Thanks for having me on the podcast. Super excited to be here.
Yeah, finally. It's been a long way. What do you say? A long way coming? No, not a long way.
A long time coming.
A long time coming. Yeah. Well, for everybody who's listening, I have Meaghan Smith on the podcast, and she's my best friend. And she's also been on the podcast in episode 97. Can you believe it? Such a long time ago.
That feels like a lifetime ago.
Yeah. And then we talked about our friendship, actually, that started when we were 40. And it's crazy pants. So everybody can go and listen to that if they want to. But on that podcast, we talked about, and before, we talked about that you would come on the podcast and actually talk about what you do best, which is money. You coach people about money. I will let you explain. But we have been talking about it so much in our polos and emails and our conversations, but now finally we are going to do it, right? So can you please, before we start, can you tell people about you? Because I know everything about you. They don't.
Hi, everyone. My name's Meaghan Jean Smith, and I am a life coach. I'm a money mindset specialist and life coach in Australia. I live on the east coast of Australia in a gorgeous beachside town, and I support women to live their most luscious, priceless, delicious life by helping them up-level their money mindset and have a really positive relationship with money, and also help them strategically create their money and life goals. That's what I do. And
That's
let me just say, Anna, I'm pretty sure I mentioned this last time, but thanks again, everyone, for just listening to me in English, because, hey, we're in Sweden now, and apologies for not speaking Swedish, but I'm not going to be learning it just to do these couple of episodes.
oh, crazy. I think it's a very funny note is that Megan's kids, they call Sweden Sweden. I think it's the sweetest thing ever. And we've talked about this Swedish thing, but all the Swedes know English, so it's no problem at all. So everybody who's listening will understand you absolutely perfectly. And you didn't mention, I just want to say that you also have a podcast.
I do. It's the Money Mindful podcast, and it's in its sixth season this year. Can you believe it? And it is all about money mindset and creating a great relationship with money and creating your money and life goals. So once you get to the end of this episode, if you're loving what I've had to say, go check it out.
Yeah, I can definitely recommend it because it's one of those binge-worthy podcasts. So you can start with the first episode that came 2019 on the 30th of September, because I checked. So you are celebrating 5 years on your podcast this year.
Yeah,
That's
that's
pretty
crazy.
cool. That's crazy pants. But we are going to try to be very short and condensed today because you and I, we can talk for hours and we're not going to do that. So we have a very strict plan and we are going to focus on what money mindset is, the basics of money mindset, because I am sure that Meaghan will come on the podcast again and talk about money mindset, but in like more detail. But since I never talk about money on the podcast, or I haven't, at least because I checked, so now we want to lay the foundation. So that's what we want to do today. So let's get started. So when people come to you, Meaghan, what do they struggle with? I mean, what are the problems that they come to you with?
Okay, that's a great question. So, in my one-to-one work, that is much broader, right? Broader beyond money mindset. But what people come to me with is that they want to create a goal. For instance, one of my clients wanted to be booked out a couple of years in advance in her business, and she wanted to have her business, what's the word I'm looking for, represented in a magazine in Australia, which is really popular in the travel industry. And so to fulfill these goals, she had to work through money mindset stuff, right? Like being able to create business goals that would bring in more money and have her fully booked out. She had to work through her limitations about what that actually meant, right? Like financially, and putting herself out there. So that's in a really broad sense, if you will, like how money is connected to our goals. But if we go much more granular, it comes down to things like clients feeling icky about money. It's like they know they've got money stuff, but they can't quite put their finger on it. Or they know that they want to make more money in their business, but they can't quite figure out what's the money stuff that's getting in the way. Like, why are they struggling with that so much, right? And so it's identifying what it is about their relationship with money, or what it is about their money mindset that is blocking them from moving forward. And so it's usually just something where they have a goal in mind that they want to do, such as in one of the workshops that I did a while back now. But I remember one of the participants said, I just want to take my family on a holiday. I just want to be able to take my family on a holiday. And the money mindset piece for her was that she just didn't know how to be organized with her money in a way that she could create that, have the money to be able to go on holiday. She had to do other steps such as organizing her accounting. So she actually knew how much money she had and if she had enough to be able to go on holiday. So it's quite individualized, if you will, but it's always relates to the way people think about money, how they behave with money, and then just identifying those things that are getting in the way of them creating their goals.
Mm. Yeah. Well, it's very practical, it sounds to me, in so many
Yeah.
ways. And also, like you normally talk to me about, like money is everywhere in our lives. It touches us on so many fronts. So it's such a huge and important topic. But you mentioned money mindset and the relationship with money. What is the difference there?
Okay. Well, should I talk at first about what money mindset is? And then we can
Yeah.
go
Yeah,
into
absolutely.
like fleshing it apart. So basically, money mindset, your money mindset refers to your beliefs about money. It's your attitude towards money. It's your perception about money. So, what do you think about money? And if you imagine that your thoughts about money are like a little collection of rocks in a handbag, right? So it's like,
Mm.
what are all those little rocks in that handbag? That is your money mindset, if you will. And it's all to do with your thoughts about spending money, earning money, saving money, investing money. What do you think about debt? All of the answers to those questions, that is your money mindset. And I want to say that I'd be very careful about saying I have a bad money mindset or a good money mindset. We just have a money mindset, neutral, right? Like,
Mhm.
it's neutral. The money mindset we have, though, however, affects the experience that we have with money. So if we want to change the amount of money that we have in our life or the experience that we have with money, then you want to start looking at that collection of thoughts, attitudes, perceptions around money, because then you can start to identify whether your thoughts around money is getting the results that you want in your life. And if they're not, because you're starting to see what those thoughts and ideas and perceptions are, then you're able to make changes, right?
Yeah.
It's just like somebody who, I'm trying to think of like a food that I didn't really think wasn't that good for you, but like as a kid, it never occurred to me that packaged food wasn't good for you. I didn't even think about stuff like that. Like you just eat food, right? You just eat chips, you just eat lollies, whatever. It's not until I was an adult where I realized, oh, wait, like if I eat packaged food all day, I feel really crappy at the end of the day. And it doesn't have a positive impact on my body, my well being, the way that I want to show up. It's the same with your money thoughts, right? Like if you are housing, if you will, all these thoughts about money that are giving you a negative result in your life, then you want to change that. Just like you want to change your eating habits if you want to feel healthy and feel like you have positive results in your life around your well being. your health and well-being, you change what you eat. Same with your money mindset. Change your thoughts around money if you want to have a healthy, positive results with money in your life.
Yeah. Makes sense. Absolutely. 100%. So then when it comes to, so that's the money mindset piece, but then the relationship with money, how does that differ, or is it the same? No.
Well, I think that there's some crossovers, but I think that the relationship with money goes a little bit deeper in the sense that it's your broader connection and interaction with money. So it's the way that it not only your relationship with money includes your mindset. So in that perspective, they are the same thing. But then it's also about your emotional associations with money, your patterns with money, how you talk about money and treat money. For example, you might say that you don't have a very positive relationship with money if you ignore money all the time and you are afraid of money, or you feel a lot of negative emotion around money, like shame or guilt when you spend money. Or some people also feel shame or guilt for having money, right? So it's more that on a feeling level, how you feel about money, and then also how do you actually show up and treat money. That is your relationship with money. So it's broader. And then also I would say that when you think about your past experiences, and maybe if you've had positive experiences or bad experiences with money, if you have past trauma around money. And when I say trauma, that word always sounds so dramatic, but maybe when you were a kid, you were always told no every time you asked for something. And so now as an adult, you just think, well, you can't possibly have what you want with money, because money doesn't grow on trees, or
Oh
we
yeah,
can't afford that. Right.
we've
So
all heard that one.
yeah. So that is the relationship with money. So I interchange them a bit, but they are different. Your relationship with money encompasses your mindset. It's broader though than your mindset. The mindset is just more about what is happening up in your head. And I must say, I'm guilty of just using them the same way though, saying mindset when actually really I probably should be saying your relationship with money.
Yeah, but I think I understand it, because when you add on like your actions and how you treat money and how you act when it comes to money, one thing that I can relate to is like, if you have a comfortable relationship with money, you don't have a problem looking at your bank account. You don't have a problem opening bills. You don't have a problem sort of tending to your money. If you feel, like you said, shame or something like that, maybe you will just look away and you will pretend it's not there, and you just go about your day normally. And then maybe you will run into trouble because you don't spend as much time with your money as you, in quotes or brackets, should, because it makes you feel uncomfortable. So yeah, I get it. I think I get it.
Oh, 100%. I actually had a situation happen last week where I received $1,600 because I was looking through my accounts and was looking through everything in detail. And it was just purely like I was very lucky to discover this, but I realized that a big bill that we had actually been paid twice. So this company had been paid by us twice, $1,600. And it was a mistake that it made sense that it happened. But it was still a mistake that happened. And this happened last year in November. And I didn't even realize, like, this whole time. And it wasn't until I was going through and checking over some numbers that I realized, wow, I think we paid these people twice. And I contacted them and they looked through their records and realized, yep. And so they refunded me $1,600. I mean, that is no joke, right? It's not like, whoops, I overpaid by $5 or something like that. It's like that's that money could go a long way. So, when you look at your money, it's not about looking at it from fear or looking at it because there's mistakes. It's just like when you're connected with things, you notice stuff that comes up. It's just like your own body, like when you take care of your own body, you notice when, I don't know, you've got some weird rash. And so then you go to the doctor and get it sorted out. Or,
Check it.
yeah, it's just, but when you ignore your body, like before you know it, it's like, oh no, I've got cancer or what have you, like, and it's gone unchecked. So, I mean, I think that's just a beautiful example of the kind of thing that can happen when you have a relationship with money where you're actually paying attention to it.
Yeah, 100%. And I think a lot of people listening now, they might go like, ooh, yeah, I think I might need to work on my money mindset. Or now we said it's neutral. It's not positive, it's not negative. But I think people who they feel like they want to work on their money mindset, they see room for improvement. And that's a beautiful thing. But if anybody would want to work on it, I mean, what is the basics? How do you start? Tell us about it. You're the pro.
Well, the first thing is to start observing your thoughts around money. And the best way I think to do that is answer questions about money. I'll just give you some examples because it's pretty hard to just go, well, I mean, you can. I could just say, well, what do you think about money? And you could just journal like your thoughts about money, positive or negative. It's neither here nor there. But you could answer questions such as, what do you believe about money? What do you believe about spending money? What do you believe about saving money? What do you believe about investing money? Right? It's bad to do this with money, or it's good to do this with money. Like what thoughts come to mind, right? When you answer those kind of questions, that will start to reveal to you what your thoughts about money are. And you don't have to do anything with that information straight away. It's just noticing what comes to mind. So a lot of common money thoughts, I'll just rattle off a few, like people might say things like, oh, I never have enough money. I need more money. Oh, there's not enough. Money doesn't grow on trees. Oh, I shouldn't buy that because fill in the blank. Oh, I couldn't possibly afford that. I don't want, no, it's, that's just frivolous. I shouldn't spend money on that. Or, what a waste of money. I mean, I'm coming up with all the negative ones now because I mean, these are the main ones that people want to change, right? But another tip around this, Anna, is to also observe yourself over a period of time, like for example, a week, or a day, and just notice what you do with money, like your behavior around money. So, for example, and you can just like jot down little notes. So, when you receive an email bill, like when your phone bill comes in on your email or your gas or electricity or whatever, what do you do? Do you just ignore it and forget about it? Do you pay it straight away? Do you have a system that you use where you put it away? Do you not even look at it because somebody else in your family deals with that? Like you don't even see those emails that come in. And again, there's no right or wrong. It's just, what do you do? What is your behavior, right? You're just trying to uncover, like, imagine that you're Sherlock Holmes, if you will, and you're just curious. You're just like, what do I do? What do I do with money? How do I behave? When you go to the local cafe with your girlfriend, What is your first reaction when you go up to pay? Do you offer straight away to pay? Are you generous with your money? Do you always split the bill because that's just what you do culturally, or that's just what your family does? Um, or do you sit back and wait for your partner to pay? Again, no right, no wrong. It's just, what do you do? Okay. And that will change everything for you. Just that alone will be so powerful.
So that's so interesting. So the first thing that you said is creating awareness. Like, what do you think about the money and all of these things like debt, spending, saving, all of those things. And then also awareness when it comes to your behavior. Like, do you spend time with money? How do you spend it? And et cetera, and the bills that you talked about. Okay, so that's like uncover where you're now. That's what I'm hearing from you. So would you say that's like the first step?
100%. And also, I just want to add that when I say, uncover your awareness around your spending, investing, earning money, debt, and so forth, you don't have to do it all at once. You can
Mm.
just pick one little area. Like, well, what am I like when the bills come in? And you can just look at that and just ignore everything else, right? Like, you don't have to tackle because basically, Anna, money affects every area of our life. It really does. Like, unless you are living off the grid, growing your own veggies, you've got the solar power going, you're working on some sort of barter system with your little community, you have money in your life, right? And so you are interacting with it every day just to go and buy your groceries at the shop. Your relationship with money affects your relationship with other people. It affects what you buy your kids for their birthday. It affects whether you shout everyone out to dinner or not, or whether you even go out to dinner because maybe you feel like that's an expense that you're not willing to do, or maybe you go on holiday all the time. And that's what you do with your money, or you don't, because it's just something that you don't want to spend your money on, whatever it, but you get the idea, right? It's
Mm.
everywhere in your life.
Yeah, so that awareness is so important. I always say that the first step to change is awareness. And it is in this case too. But then when you have done that, what's next?
Okay. So there's no rush, but the next step is well, actually, I like to start with this one first. Notice what you do with money that you love and that really works for you. Okay. So, for example, let's say you save 10% of your income every time you make money, and you love that you do that, and that you're really happy that you do that. And that's something that you feel really good about and that you want to continue doing. Make note of that. Make sure you put a big circle around that on your notepad or whatever it is, and just really acknowledge, hey, I'm already doing behaviors with money that I'm really happy with, and I'm really liking the result of that. Maybe you're the one who always shouts your friends out to coffee and you're like, you know what? I love that about myself. I love that I do that with money. But the opposite can be true, Anna. You also might be like, okay, I'm noticing that I always pay when I go out, and I'm realizing I'm doing that out of a reaction or out of like this feeling like I should, or when actual fact, I don't want to be the one who pays all the time. Right. I mean, so I'm giving that example because I really want to hammer home how important it is that you don't have to do money how some pale, stale male tells you to do it. You don't have to do it how society says that you have to do it, right? your money mindset is yours alone. You can cultivate and foster and grow and change the money mindset that you want however you want. So this is why I'm giving you this contradiction with, a behavior that it could be good or bad for you, and you get to decide. So decide what you're doing with money, and decide which things that you're doing with money and the ways that you're thinking about money that you like, and that you're happy that you're doing that and you want to keep doing that. Right? That's a really great place to start, because you can start from a positive point of view, like, hey, I'm already thinking this about money. I love that I think that about money. I'm already doing this behavior with money. I love that that's how I am with money in that area of my life, right? And then the next step, I would say, is identify what you're doing with money that you're not loving, that you are realizing, you know what? I really don't like that. I just feel like I never have enough. I'm not liking that. I don't want to feel like I don't have enough. I don't want to think that I don't want to have enough. That is an area where I want to change. So it's identifying where you want to change. That's it. So it's just, what is your mindset and relationship with money that you like and you want to keep? Acknowledge that, make note of that, give yourself a pat on the back, like, yep, great. And then just notice, okay, so what are the areas that I'd like to change? Again, and I know it's so easy for me to say this, but really try to do this from a neutral space, because money is such a triggering area for so many people. And so it's kind of laughable in some sense, me saying, and just look at it from a neutral space, because, there's probably thoughts or behaviors that you're doing with money where you'd feel extreme stress or discomfort around. And I just, again, want to say, look, it's okay. Like, nothing's gone wrong here. You have the power to change. You just have to actually start taking the action to make the changes. And this would be my next step. Anna, are we ready to move on to the next step?
Yeah. I'm writing down the steps.
Yeah. So then it's like, when you identify what you want to change, sometimes there might be bad feeling, negative emotion, trauma. There might be some healing or letting go that needs to happen. Right. And that is a little bit more in depth than the scope of this podcast, but that is where you might need to forgive yourself for past behaviors or thoughts that you've had, that, maybe you got yourself into some really bad debt that is upsetting to you or distressing to you, and you want to be able to resolve that and move on from that. There will be a level of forgiveness or letting go or healing, right? There's that may need to happen when you want to change. And then on top of that, there will be a new practice, a new way of behaving or doing something. Okay. So for example, you might be in a partnership where you've got into financial strife, but you never look at the money, for instance, right? And you blame your partner all the time, but then maybe some responsibility needs to be taken, or that where you need to actually forgive yourself or your partner. You may need to forgive a partner for the way that they behaved, or you may need to forgive yourself for, never taking action and sort of just passing on the responsibility to someone else. So this isn't a blame game. This is a healing game. This is a resolving issues. This is a letting go, moving on. But that is very much an important part, because some stuff with money can feel tight and constricted and very, very real.
Yeah.
I want to assure you and give you some comfort and motivation, if you will, that even the realest of feelings when it comes to money, like where it was a big problem or that you feel like you don't have enough, when you are open to change and you are willing to start doing some of the inner work and you're willing to be open to healing and changing your thoughts and relationship with money, it will change if you continue to do that work. So this is the next step from that, Anna, and that is when you may need to practice new thoughts around money. Well, you're definitely going to, if the thoughts that you've got right now aren't serving you. And then you might need to practice changed behavior around money. Right. So I'll give a tangible example. So your audience has something to grab onto.
Yeah.
Really common one. I don't have enough money. Right. It's so common. I'm pretty sure, I'd be surprised. In fact, if somebody is listening who never has that thought, please write in and tell us who you are and
Yes,
share your
please.
wisdom.
Yeah, we really want to know.
So it's a really common thought, right? I don't have enough. But for most of us, Anna, I mean, unless you are, I mean, we're both in first world countries, very wealthy countries. It's pretty unusual that any one of your listeners is really doesn't have enough money, because so many of us say we don't have enough money, but in actual fact we do, right? And one of the tricksy questions I like to ask is, well, do you have more than enough money to get through the rest of today, right? Do you have enough money to cover all your expenses for the rest of the day? And I know this is not true for everyone, and I am talking from a very privileged space here. This is what I'm saying. I know some people are on the poverty line and all of that, and this is not what I'm talking about. Most of us do have enough money, but we say that we don't, right? And so one of the ways to overcome that belief is just to be really factual. And like the example I just said, well, yeah, I do have enough money for today. Or do you have enough money to get you through this week? It's like, well, actually, yes, I do. And I mean, you can stretch that out as far into the future that you want. But even saying something like, I've got enough money for this week, or I've got more than enough money for this month, can start to feel a bit wobbly, right? And as soon as it starts to feel wobbly, bring it back. And the reason why I'm suggesting this is because the more times you say, I don't have enough, it becomes like cement in your brain until you just think that this is like you're reading from the newspaper, like it's a fact of life that you don't have enough. And yet here you are sitting in your nice house with a meal to eat and the heater, and you're actually fine, right? And you can pay for your kids' music lessons or whatever it is, but you're still sort of like, I don't have enough. So this is how we start to change our beliefs, by focusing on what can you actually believe, what can you say and practice, but that is believable. Because I don't want you to go from I don't have enough to then going, oh, I have all the money in the world and I'm so abundant and money just flows to me. And your brain's like, yeah, right, bullshit, right? Like you can't grab onto that and believe it, because you're just so like solid in this idea of I don't have enough. And so this is why I suggest to you just make a tiny tweak. Like, I've got more than enough money for today. Right? I've got more than enough money for this week. And it just cracks the door open for you to start thinking about money in a different way and start believing that you do have enough. And, just today on social media, somebody was saying to me, yeah, but I don't have enough money for a new car if my car breaks down. And, the feedback that I gave to her was 100%, like, even if it's true that you don't have the money in your bank account to buy a new car, instead of saying, I don't have enough or I can't afford it, say, right now I'm choosing to spend my money on whatever it is you're choosing to spend your money on. Like I'm choosing to spend my money on my mortgage repayments, or I'm
Yeah.
choosing to spend my money on buying food for my family every week. I'm choosing to spend money on wood for our fire so we're staying warm in winter, as opposed to spending the money on the car. Now, because so we're not trying to pretend that you've magically got this money for the car. No, it's just, but really bring the power back to yourself into what you can control and your own mindset around money, because saying that I don't have enough or I can't afford it is very disempowering. And
Mm.
they are thoughts that are not going to serve you to create the money to buy that car. You following me, Anna? I feel like I'm
Yeah,
giving you a lot
yeah,
of
absolutely. No, but I've written everything down because I am a very structured person. So no, but I definitely get it. And it makes so much sense to, if we're just going to repeat for everybody who's listening, that the beginning, the start is always awareness. So in this case, it's both what you think about money, but also observing your behavior with money. So that's the first step. And then you said so that's number one and number two, but both are awareness. So the next step, you said, okay, so what works? What works? What do you want to keep? So make note of that. And then make note of what is not working. So you can actually identify what you want to change. And then you said, okay, so maybe you need to think new thoughts, or you need to uh, change behaviors. So that was the whole sort of start with the awareness piece, and then also identifying what do you want to change? What do you want to keep? But then I thought it was super interesting when you came to what I said is number five. Like maybe you need to let go of something. Maybe you need to heal. Maybe you need to forgive yourself or forgive someone else for doing something when it comes to money. And I think that is something that might be very difficult for some people because it feels so true. Like you have something that you did that you, with your money, that you feel like it's still haunting you, even though it's actually not present in your everyday life, but it's sort of made a mark on you. Like you said, I'm bad with money because I have this evidence that in the past I did this really stupid investment. And then you sort of bring that along. And if you can just get some closure and put that behind you, and like you said, trail a new way ahead, which is number 6 in my notes, that will make all the difference in the world, I'm sure. And when you said trailing a new way ahead, you said both behavior and thoughts. And also, when the last thing you said, like they need to be believable. So that's like
yes.
my note taking. What you've been going through the basics when it comes to money mindset. But
Yeah.
when you hear me talking about that or reading that back to you, is there anything I sort of got wrong or
No, you didn't get anything wrong, but there is something that I want to add,
okay, good.
because so I am talking in very broad general terms on this podcast today, because it's, and like you said, like, yeah, somebody might have to let go of feelings around money, and that is hard, and that is more the in-depth work that you might do with, like, that's what the sort of stuff my clients do with me, right? Like where
Yeah.
you would attack one issue and go over that and really poke holes in those beliefs, or heal that situation and have time to heal and let it process through your body, right? Um, so yes, I'm kind of like saying like, oh, look, you just you just identify a thought and then you decide that you like it and you keep it, or you just identify one and decide you don't like it and poof, let it go and your whole life changes. No, like it does require that you do the work. And that's the final piece that I want to say is that, some people come to me with this idea that, oh, I'm really bad with money, or I don't know what to do with money, and that is when, yes, you need to do the money mindset work to create new thoughts that you are learning to be better with money, or that you are learning to look after your money, whatever the thought is that you want to practice. But you also have to practice the action. And what I mean by that is that if you want to be good with money, well, and you have no idea about money, well, maybe you need to read a book on personal finance, or maybe you need to employ an accountant in your business and have regular meetings with them and get them to explain things to you, what you need to do in your business. Because this is the thing where I just feel like money mindset has got a bit of a bad rap, and the word abundance and manifestation, all of that, as if that it's this magical thing that we just sit on a mountaintop and meditate and think positive thoughts about money, and then money just floats down from the sky and flows to us, and we're in an alignment. And I just manifested this new home that I bought. Yeah, okay, I did manifest this new home, but I actually went out and got a broker and spoke to a broker about, I don't know if they're called the same thing in Sweden, but about what kind of investment loan I can get to buy the house. I've spent years investing in other houses, so I had the capital to actually buy this house. I've read a bazillion books on investing. Like, what I mean here is that being a good custodian with money, so having a great relationship with money, also involves you having to put in effort. And I want to give you an analogy in the sense that if you imagined that money was your partner, and when you got home, you were just like, whatever, money, I don't care about you. You're never around. There's not enough of you. I'm never going to look at you or talk positively about you. I feel so much shame, money, when you come into my life, or I feel so much shame, money, when you're not in my life. I mean, can you imagine your partner? Your partner would be like, this is terrible. Like, I don't want to be with this person. But this is kind of like what we do with money. And think about what you invest your time into learning about. Like, how much time did you spend, when I say you, just the general public, wandering around IKEA investigating the right cabinetry for your kitchen, or whatever it is, the candles for Christmas and can you put that same amount of care and time and energy into some financial education for yourself? Right. So I just really don't want to end this without that piece, because it is so connected. Like, the money mindset piece, how you think about money, is paramount. But the ripple effect, if you will, of that, or the after effect of that, is then you actually have to take action on it. You are the one who has to put the money in the savings account, or you are the one who has to learn how to manage your money in your business so that you have cash flow to get through each month in your business and cover your expenses. You are the one who has to budget your family economy, right? Like, you've got to take action on it as well. I can't hammer home that part of it as well. And then the other piece I want to say about that, and oh my goodness, we said we were going to be concise, is that you can do all these things with money, like take all these actions with money. And I think this is an important point to point out. You can actually have a lot of money, Anna, and be quite a wealthy person, but have a really crappy relationship with money. Like you can be earning a lot of money, have a regular income coming in, have your home paid off and all of that, but still feel extremely like a lot of scarcity around money and like you never have enough. And then that's the money mindset piece. So they're two things that you have to address. That's why I say look at how you're thinking about money, but also look at how you're actually being with money and the actions that you take. Because you might take a whole bunch of great actions with money, but you actually have a whole heap of negative thoughts and feelings around money. So there's lots of different aspects. That's why I will never be out of work, because everybody needs help with their money mindset.
Yeah, 100%. And like we talked about, there's so many aspects to it. And I think this last piece that you press on, like the magic is in work. It's in the work when it comes to changing what you think about money, but nothing will change if you don't actually change what you do. But that, I would say, becomes so much easier because it's very difficult to do all the things that you want to do with money if you come from a feeling of, say, shame or dread or scarcity. So I would say 100%, you need to fix your thoughts so you can fuel yourself with the right feelings so you can actually do the things you need to do with your money easy and effortless, because it's much easier to do something from a feeling of like engagement or like power or positivity. So if you can change that feeling, which you do through the mindset, from shame to power, it's a new game for sure.
Well, Anna, I'd really love to just finish by saying that, I really want to encourage your listeners to do money mindset work, because imagine having a positive relationship with money. Imagine the impact that that would have on your life if you've just felt confident with your
Mm,
decisions around money, if you felt at peace with money. And I really believe that you can create this at any income level. I I have a unique positioning in some ways that, yes, I help people make more money, if you will, because when you start working on your money mindset, the byproduct of that is that you often create more money because you just are learning how to manage it better, right? And so you're able to invite more money into your life and have more money. But the thing that I really want to encourage people is do the money mindset work so you can have a positive relationship with money at any income level,
mm,
right? And that you can just be at peace with money and you can make intentional decisions around money, and you don't have to feel icky or negative about it. You can just feel matter of fact. You can
mm,
feel neutral, or you could even go as far. I mean, I don't want to go too crazy here, but you could even go as far as like feeling positive feelings around money and feeling like you've got a loving and caring relationship with money and that you nurture it and that you want to look
mm.
after it. Right. But let's not
Yeah.
get too crazy, because that can feel really unbelievable for people when they're at the other extreme. Right. So
Yeah, but
yeah.
I mean, it's something to work towards, but step by step, right? Because it's much nicer to have a lovely relationship with money and feel power and confidence than being on the other side of the spectrum. So 100%. But yeah, I think we have banged out so many things that people can start with now, and that is amazing. That was our goal. But before we wrap up, I of course want to um, I want you to tell people where they can reach you. I will of course put everything in the show notes, all the links and everything. But I also know that you have a workshop coming up, and that I think would be a perfect start for the people who actually want help with these things. Because of course they can write all the things that we talked about today and start. But we know it's a very big difference if you actually have someone leading you a little bit by the hand when you get started. So can you tell us about it?
Absolutely. Thank you very much for mentioning that. And thank you for letting me mention it to your audience. So you can find me on Instagram and Facebook and my website. It's all the same. It's Meaghan J. Smith. So Meaghan J. Smith, Smith. That's my website. That's where my handle on Instagram and Facebook. You can find me there. I'm running a money mindset masterclass in June the 19th at 10 a.m. Australian Eastern Standard Time. So I have a horrible feeling for you wonderful folk in Sweden that could possibly be in the middle of the night for you, maybe on the 18th or the 19th. But maybe not. I don't know. You can check that out. But regardless of whether you come live or not, it is live for other people, and you will be able to hear other people asking questions and me answering those and coaching those. And it's a beautiful introduction to money mindset work. It's a 90-minute workshop and it's only 37 Australian dollars. I've got no idea what that is in SEK, but it's not.
No, I don't know. I don't do
It's
math.
very I've
very cheap.
intentionally made it ridiculously accessible because I want everybody to be able to just come and just go, oh, okay, this money mindset stuff isn't as hard as I thought. And there is actually a pathway that I can change, because it's my goal that I can support as many women as possible. Just be at peace with money, for goodness sake. There's enough things going on in our lives. Can we at least just feel okay about money and just be able to operate our lives without that being an icky area? Because it really is accessible for you to be able to change your relationship with money. And it has such a big impact on your whole life. So I would love to invite your listeners to come and join me at the masterclass and just learn 3 simple steps to changing their relationship, a bit like this podcast episode. I'm going to take them through examples, and there's a workbook, and they'll also have time and a chance to interact with me. And then they'll be in my world as well.
Yeah,
and
for sure.
love supporting.
And I just want to say, if it is in the middle of the night, you will provide a replay, right?
Oh, absolutely. And the replay they will have available for 12 months. And once they have bought that masterclass, they can come anytime in the following 12 months when I run it live. And so I might run it at another stage when it's more at a better time for Europeans.
Oh, yeah, you better.
Yeah.
No, but I know, since we run workshops, both you and I, that the amount of people taking the opportunity to watch the replay is paramount. It's very, very big. And it's so good when you sign up and you get the replay, because when you do workshops like this, then you can also pause, Meaghan, and go like, oh, I need to write that down, which is very good. But if you come live, that is super special. I just want to say it's always best to be there live, and then you have the replay, and then you can go through it again and pause and do all the things. So, I mean, if it's like at 3 o'clock in the morning, I don't know, but then I can understand that people might not want to be up. But if you can attend live, that's my 2 cents. So you will give me the link. I will put the link down in the show notes. When do people have to sign up by? When is the last day to sign up?
Well, before it starts. So it's on the 19th. So
okay. So
the day
as
before.
long as they sign up before it starts, then they're okay. Yeah. Okay, yeah, that's perfect. And I'll put all the other links and everything in the show notes too, so people can find you on Instagram. And you're such a Reels person, and you do so many, what do you call it, stories, where you talk to people and give them tips and tricks. So if you don't follow Meaghan already, you should definitely go do that, because she is a content machine and providing so many good things. And don't forget the podcast. I would also recommend starting from the beginning with a podcast, because I know the first episode is really, really good. and sort of giving you a foundation. So if you want to start working on your money mindset, you have so many things now where you can go and start. And then we will do another podcast a little bit more specific on something in the future. Excuse me. So that'll be so much fun. But yeah, we said we would be concise, so we better stop. But thank you so much. It's been a long time coming, and I'm so happy we finally got around to it. Thank you so much, Meaghan.
Thank you, Anna.
Jesus, det var en lång podcast. Det var nog kanske en av de absolut längsta jag någonsin har gjort, tror jag. Men det här är ett så himla viktigt område. Så jag hoppas verkligen att du tar chansen och lyssna på Meaghans podcast. Var med på workshopen den 19. Du hittar alla länkarna här nere i show notesen. För jag vet personligen vilken otroligt stor skillnad det här jobbet gör. Och Meaghan är verkligen expert. Så ta chansen om du känner att du har en icke-relation med dina pengar. Tills dess att vi hörs nästa gång, ha en underbar vecka.